Hello and welcome to another Win Daily Sports Show. My name is Michael Rasile. I got my man Sia Nejad here with me, and we're usually together on Tuesdays. Not with Joel, but we're usually together on Tuesdays talking golf. Today, we're together talking betting because we got a pretty big Thursday slate ahead of us, and we wanted to get out in front of it. Sia, how excited are you for some Thursday football and turkey and I guess family, if you guys do that kind of stuff?
Can I just say, I saw your podcast with, I believe it was Spice Adams.
Yes.
And
go listen to that. That was fun.
yeah, I already listened to it. And you
Not you. I wasn't telling you. I was telling everybody else out there. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, well, anyway, I also listened to it. You eat
Thanks.
steak on Thanksgiving? You're not a turkey guy?
Yeah, turkey sucks. Turkey sucks.
Whoa. What about like the dark meat though? Because I think the white meat's kind of dry, but like the dark meat I'm totally down with.
Yeah, I mean, I just put gravy on all of it because gravy tastes better than turkey.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So steak then. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
well, that was a cool interview, by the way.
Thanks. It was really cool. Yeah. Check it out.
Anyway, to answer your question, I'm super excited. So, I live down in the Miami area. So like the holidays take on sort of a different role now because it always feels like summer. Mm-hmm. So, we're doing our best. We already have our Christmas tree up. So that's a thing.
Love it.
Yeah. But outside of that, man, I can't wait for Thursday football. I'm super excited about it. Washington plays, of course. That's my squad. So we'll see what happens. I've definitely got a strong take on that game, which I know we'll get into in just a few minutes. But yeah, man, I'm excited. And I'm already looking at the Sunday slate too. And I'm noticing that Nick's projection model on windailysports.com already has everything up. So maybe or maybe not, it'll be updated if we hear about some injuries like DeAndre Swift and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm already looking at that and crafting my lineup. So I'm super excited.
It's awesome. We already have up on the site Adam's game by game. He did a Thursday slate for us, so he goes over those 3 games. We're going to have props. Obviously, we have this show. We're going to have another betting article specifically for the Thursday show. We're going to have more props. Jason, we pulled him and said, hey, you run this company. Why don't you write an article? So I got him to write an article. So he already has his FanDuel and DraftKings breakdown up on the site as well. We are giving you everything for Sunday because any reason to not have to talk to your family and stare at your phone, people, we're here for you. Or better, download one of those betting apps on your parents' phone. Promo code WINDAILY 500 or 250, depending on it. I'll link that in the show notes. And just bet with them. Just bet with them, right? Player props. That's the most fun thing. It's fantasy football, but better in some situations. And we're going to have a million props for you. Well, maybe not a million, but we're going to have a bunch of props for you. I can promise you that. We're going to have a Monkey Knife Fight. We're going to have it all. So make sure to come hang out with us this Thursday. It's going to be fantastic. Tomorrow night, where C and I usually have this betting show, we're actually going to have a little family feast, let's call it. As you know, Wednesday night should be the biggest drinking night, biggest drinking holiday of the year. So we really can't go out. Most of us are located. So we're going to get together, tell you why we're all thankful for you, ourselves, and this family that we have built, and drink some beer. So I hope everyone comes and enjoys us for that as well. And I promise you, there will not be 6 people on the screen at once. Jason said we should do that. I said, no, we tried it. And it was one of the worst shows we ever did. C and I promise we'll never do that again. So make sure to come hang out with us for that as well. But
hang on. Can I just say? Well, you know what? I'll save it for later on in the show. But go ahead. Let's start with the first game.
All right. Well, before we get to the first game, I want to remind everybody our Black Friday sale has actually already started. So if you go to windailysports.com and you're not a member of either the sports betting package or the DFS, the gold package, come on, it's 50% off. You can try it out. For a year, it's $180. That's less than 50 cents a day. Sia is good enough looking just to spend that 50 cents a day, people. Just do it.
I mean, 50 he's cents not wrong. Guys, he's not wrong.
I'm not wrong, guys. I'm not wrong. That's why I love having these shows with Sia. I get to stare at him the whole time. 50 cents a day. Please, windailysports.com. Everything. You don't even have to type in a promo code. It's just already loaded into the site. You just go there, check out. It's already 50% off. So we all love you for that. If you don't want to and you're just like super cheap, windailysports.com/chat. You get 7 free days in the expert Discord chat, which of course you get in all of our packages as well. So you guess you could try us out or whatever. I don't know. Not worth it. Just sign up. All right. Now let's get into this Thursday slate of games. It should be fun. We have a 12:30 game. So again, get to your parents a little earlier than you kind of wanted to. You don't really want to wait till 1 o'clock for that first game. Bang. The NFL helps you out. They give you a game 30 minutes sooner, something to fall asleep in front of the couch too. We have the Texans traveling to the Detroit Lions. This line opened up at 2.5. Looks like it's about -3 to the Texans right now, which should be a lot of fun. We have an over-under of 50, 51.5, depending on where you're looking. Sia, we just saw the Texans beat the Patriots, which no one really thought that was going to happen. Now that we can almost kind of proclaim the Patriots dead. We then also saw the Lions score 0 points against the the Panthers. Jesus Christ, against the Panthers. That was bad. Talk to me a little bit about this first game. This one's looks fishy, smells fishy, and just it makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable because there's not a single person in the universe that doesn't look at that line and say to themselves, oh, this one's easy. Oh, I can't believe they gave me a layup on Thursday morning. Now I can take that money that I'm going to win and really decide on these harder games like Washington and Dallas and the Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's a problem. So for me, though, I'm happy to fall into the trap quite easily if we get clarity on like Galladay. It doesn't look like he's playing, but DeAndre Swift, it looks like he probably is trending towards playing. If somehow he's out, then I think this is sort of an easy one because they won't have a dynamic receiver. They won't have a dynamic runner. We know that Matt Stafford has this thumb issue, which may have hampered him just a few days ago. There's really not, Marvin Jones is just a guy. Marvin Hall is just a guy. They don't really have, TJ Hawkinson, I know people kind of sweat him a little bit. He's okay. But in my opinion, he's closer to just a guy than he is like some like Kelsey, Ertz dominator type guy. So yeah, I'm happy to fall into the trap but for right now, I'm holding off. But if it's 3, in some places I'm seeing it 2.5 juiced up at 2.5. I'll take it, but I do want to wait to see about DeAndre Swift. But honestly, I'm sort of tempted to take it anyway because I kind of like the Lions preseason, but the effort they're putting up lately, it's just it's not looking good.
How do you score 0 points against the Panthers defense? They have maybe not like awful, but definitely, middle third of the league, right? They're not some like top 5 defense where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you could see that happening. I just don't get it. You can run against them. Adrian Peterson wasn't capable of doing anything. Kerryon Johnson, we know they kind of already hate him. He wasn't really capable of doing anything. I just don't understand. I think Matt Prater might have missed a field goal, but okay, 3 points. Wow, geez, all right, that would have made it look a lot better. It's very confusing to me how they scored 0 points. And it's not like it was like 45. It was a 10, it was a 17, it was a 20-point game. Like it was one of those, like you should have been able to score at some point, and they just weren't capable of doing it. But the Texans, man, they beat the Patriots. That line had that crazy swing where it was the Texans -3. I guess the line was right the first time. It went all the way to Patriots like -2.5. We all got fish hooked on that one. That was fun. I don't know. Wait, you don't think the Texans are capable of putting up a couple extra points than the Lions this week?
No, I do. I just don't want to be Joe Public. Like I'm just super nervous about falling into this line should be 4.5. Yeah. And it's not. And so I just feel like they're kind of sucking us in. But again, sometimes they get it wrong. And here they might have got, you would have thought, listen, if it was 2 weeks ago when this line came out, I would have been like, all right, I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. I'll probably take the Lions. Last week when they played the Patriots, I'm talking about the Texans, of course, I kind of thought they'd sort of be mailing it in at this point. They are absolutely finished. But clearly they played that game with some pop and some motivation. So there's no reason to believe suddenly 4 days later they're going to be like, oh, I'm not really sweating this game because it's the Lions instead of the Patriots. The way Deshaun Watson is playing, I don't know how the Lions are going to contain him. And the way the Lions offense is playing, even if they put up 14, 17 points, I'm not so sure they cover. We see the over-under, the total here is 52.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's safe to say the Texans are going to put up 24, 27 points, and I don't see the Lions putting up too much of a fight there. Maybe 20, best case scenario.
Yeah, and talking about Joe Public, about 80% of the money is coming in on the Texans right now in that 2.5 to 3 range. So something to pay attention to. Also, the over, I don't think... I hate rooting for unders, but I feel like the under is pretty easy here, but that's the joke, right? That's the joke. That's why betting's not easy, right? That's pretty much as easy as it gets.
I like the under, and I did mention that it was 52. It's clearly been bet down to 51 in a lot of places, and I still like the under there, frankly.
Austin Kramer, you guys should do a giveaway for AirPods, but rig it so Sia wins. Is that a joke? Is that
I have AirPods. I'm just not sophisticated enough to know how to sync it with my my Blue Yeti.
Yeah, don't let's not play that game. Let's not play that game. It's a lot easier this way. All right, let's move on to your Washington Football Club and the Dallas Cowboys. This game starts at 4:30 on Thanksgiving Day. As we all know, the Cowboys and the Lions are always the teams that play on Thanksgiving. I think the story goes that nobody wanted to play on Thanksgiving, and they were the ones that did it, and now joke's on everybody else because however many years later, I think last year the most watched program in the world, essentially, maybe not the world, that's probably a little over the top, but it was the Cowboys Bills game last year. I think like 36.5 million people tuned in to watch that game. So I would say it's probably pretty good to play on Thanksgiving. So we have the Washington Football Club. We have the Dallas Cowboys. Line opened at -1 to the Cowboys. It's all the way up to 3, but not for any real reason. It seems like it's a 50-50 split of bets, a 50-50 split of the money. Over under started at 47. It's now down to 46, 45 and a half, depending on where you're looking. As we said, the Washington Football Club, I didn't say it, but I'll say it now. They did beat the Joe Burrow, kind of less Bengals. Unfortunately, Joe Burrow's out for the year, which kind of sucks. But they were putting up a fight. It didn't really look like the Bengals were going to win that game anyway. And the Cowboys, +7.5, come and beat the Minnesota Vikings, which was kind of awesome. I think I called that one. I definitely was on the Cowboys. I don't know if I said the money line on that one, but I'll take it. How do you feel, Washington Football Club, Dallas Cowboys, for first place in the NFC East, first to 4 wins probably? So how do you feel about that?
Watch out. We'll cover the Giants later. They've got an absolute layup. So
we'll see.
They're staring down first place next week, which is absolutely insane. Listen, it started at +1. Now it's +3. That's a key number. Like, give me the +3. I mean, okay, so a couple things are working out for the Cowboys, and people didn't really factor it into their analysis when they did these like money line parlays with the Vikings or whatever they decided to do. The offensive line, and Sticks Picks was on Sirius with us talking about this because he really liked Ezekiel Elliott in DFS last week, and that really panned out. I think it was his first game over 100 rushing yards, and he had a receiving touchdown as well. So with that offensive line improvement, it does somewhat neutralize the Washington front seven, which is very, very good. So I think that might be what's working in their favor here. But 3 points is too many. I mean, to me, that's kind of a ridiculous line. I think it should have maybe stayed at 1 because they're the home team and Dalton's got a few games under his legs at this point. I'm not really an Alex Smith believer, but even if he does the check down thing, I think the defense can keep this thing close. And he has enough weapons with McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, JD McKissick, and Cam and Steven Sims that, they're not related, by the way, that I think he can matriculate the ball down the field in the game manager fashion that he normally does. So yeah, I think Washington probably wins this outright, but I'll take the 3.
At beating the book, I hope you just heard what Sia said. Matriculating. That's a big word.
That's
that's a big word. I just want you to know that.
So fun fact, Gil went to high school about 20 miles from me in the upper Maryland area. And it's a high school like we played in sports and whatnot here and there. So he's a big fan of the 4 and 5 syllable words. So hats off to Gil. He's one of the best in the business for sure.
Hats off. Hopefully we're going to have Josh Applebaum on in the next couple weeks. He said he would come on. Josh, you said you'd come on. We have Stoby in the chat telling us, yes, Ezekiel Elliott did not hit 100 yards. Bang, he's right there. Stoby's also out. We'll get to Gus Edwards. Calm down, Stoby. Gus Edwards, Rutgers legend. You keep him out of your mouth, damn it. I would say, yes, this game probably should have stayed at 1. I actually kind of like the Washington Football Club more than the Cowboys. I think, again, because of what happened on that late Sunday game where the Cowboys win. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe the Cowboys won. It's like, well, the Vikings suck. Like, let's not forget that, guys. They barely beat that Bears team, and they tried their hardest not to win that game. So I don't know why the Vikings were 7.5-point favorites. It didn't really make sense to me there. Yeah, I think the Washington Football Club wins outright. Like, I just think they straight up win outright. I don't really think it's that big a deal. I as you said, yeah, their offensive line, the Cowboys' offensive line is getting better. I don't think that's going to do too much. I think that front seven of the football club is just that damn good. So I'm curious to see what happens. And Scary Terry, I am excited to watch Scary Terry just carve up that Cowboys defense. Because, yeah, I agree. Alex Smith is going to check down a lot, but Scary Terry's getting his 12 or 15 targets, whatever it may be. He'll have enough catches. He'll do something with it. So I actually do think the Washington Football Club wins outright. So obviously I'm going to take 3 points there. I think that's pretty darn easy. Do you want to move on? Let's go to the Ravens and the Steelers. Obviously, a lot of news with this one. So J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram, not going to say they were making out, but both of them got COVID. So that's something happened there. Gus Bus, Rutgers legend, most likely to get the start, and actually did pretty well against the Steelers last time they played. I think he had about 100 or about 80-ish yards rushing, maybe even had a touchdown on there. Going to be weird. Now I need to ask you, every single week, maybe not every single week, every other week, I feel like, we go through the three best teams in the AFC East, the three best teams in the AFC East. It's always the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Steelers, in some kind of order. Can we finally take the Ravens out of that top three? Because when they go to 6-5, they can't possibly be one of the best three teams in the AFC East when we're going to have the Dolphins possibly with 7 wins, the Colts, the Titans, one of them's going to have 8 wins at the end of this week. Well, I don't actually know if one of them is better, but can we finally just take the Ravens out of the top three? Because they are very clearly not one of the top 3 best teams in the AFC.
Okay, first of all, you keep saying the AFC East. You're talking about the AFC, right?
Conference,
okay, so,
my bad.
Yeah, we know who the third best team is, and it's not the Ravens. And I've sort of alluded to it the last couple weeks. And our guy, David Meltzer, who's on the series show with us every Saturday night, has alluded to it since the preseason. The third best team in the AFC is none other than your Las Vegas Raiders, who, by the way, should have beat the Chiefs last week.
Mm-hmm.
They honestly, if you swap jerseys, you would have thought the way they were passing it down the field, matriculating, if you will, they were the better squad. And honestly, it came down to a Nelson Aguilar like kind of drop, tough ball to catch. If he catches that ball late in the fourth quarter, the game's over. The Raiders win. So I think the Raiders are. I don't want to say they're firmly entrenched as the third best team. I guess my point is, you have your top 2 teams, and then you have everybody else, and they're all on kind of a level playing field. And frankly, I think the Ravens are just under that. Part of that is injuries, because they have major injuries on the defensive line. Their left tackle is out for the season, which is a really, really big deal. He's one of the best in the game. So, and of course, now we have these COVID issues with the running game. I noticed Stovey has a comment about Justice Hill. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, you're right. The Ravens are not. I mean, listen, they were a preseason pick of mine.
Hell yeah!
I don't think. Yeah, and I don't think they're out of it by any means, but something has to turn around specifically with Lamar Jackson, I think. I saw some stuff on social media today kind of blaming the receivers and not Lamar Jackson. I think that's way off base. I mean, I think it is absolutely Lamar Jackson, the second best quarterback on the Baltimore Ravens. We know who the best quarterback is there, and he's not finding his receivers. No, it's not Trace McSorley.
Okay, all right. No, our friend of the show, Mr. Griffin III. Absolutely. Go donate to his foundation, kids. Great foundation, Robert
the
Griffin.
RG3 Foundation. Check it out. It's a great foundation. Also, go back and listen to the interview that Sia and Jason did. Also a great one. But yeah, it's starting to get kind of ridiculous. And the scariest thing for Ravens fans, again, so they have the most recent notification I got was they have 5 players and 5 staffers have tested positive. So we know 2 of the players, Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins. I don't know if we got word on the rest of them yet, the other 3 players. Obviously, 5 staffers is a lot. The one worry about this game, and I think no matter what, unless it's the entire offensive line or an entire position group is out with COVID, the NFL will make sure this game happens because, again, this is going to be one of the 2 or 3 most watched programs in America this entire year. So the NFL will 100% make sure this happens. They don't care if it's a blowout. They need the absolute the TV ratings there. But if the Ravens drop to 6-5, which I mean, it's kind of hard to see them not. Now, of course, again, we say that and they probably will come out and win. I mean, they put up a bajillion yards against the Steelers last game. It was Lamar Jackson's 4 turnovers that really did him in. The Steelers dropped to the Ravens dropped to 6-5. It is real difficult for them to make the playoffs. Very, very difficult, which is just a crazy thing to think about considering, again, where they were at the beginning of the year and where we all assumed they would be. So I guess I'll throw it back to you, Sia. I mean, we have 85%, almost 90% of the money coming in on the Steelers. It looks like it's sticking at about -4.5. Looks like you can get it at -5.5. Over-under is crazy low as well. I guess they don't really believe in either of these offenses too much. Hard to not go with the Steelers at this point, right? Wrong. No, I'm on the Ravens here. And it's mostly because, okay, so we have Mark Ingram out. I don't know that that's really a factor here, right? J.K. Dobbins is the most talented running back on the team. He's out. He's really dynamic also in the passing game. But just like Stovey brought up, Justice Hill, he can catch. Like he will be used in the passing game. And Gus Edwards is more like a north-south guy, your Rutgers product. But listen, Gus Edwards had a fine time, just like you said, against Pittsburgh last time they played, which wasn't that long ago. So I honestly think, unless there's a Lamar injury that I don't know about, which I know a few weeks back they were, or maybe like a month or so ago, they were talking about maybe a knee issue and he was resting, during weekly practice and whatnot. But unless there's something I don't know, I think they're going to be able to run the ball pretty easily against Pittsburgh. So listen, they killed Jacksonville last week, but the 3 games prior to that, Pittsburgh was allowing 4.9 yards per carry to running backs in those like 3 weeks prior to the Jacksonville game. So it's not like they're like staunch on the defensive line. Devin Bush is out. He's out for the rest of the season. You can move the ball that way. So I think this is a ball control game. I think the Ravens have just enough to maybe score some points. We've seen Pittsburgh kind of be up and down against certain teams. They put the full court press on Jacksonville, but if they don't cause those turnovers like they did in the Jacksonville game a few days ago, then Ravens are probably going to score their points. So give me the dog here for sure.
You convinced me. Wow, that was so easy. No, I mean, it is, again, what they did the first time. Ravens probably should have. They had a very good chance. I think it was 4th and like 7 from like the 15 or something. So they were about to score that last touchdown. They just couldn't punch it in. And I mean, again, Lamar Jackson, you usually don't have 4 turnovers in a game. I think he had 2 picks, 2 fumbles. It wasn't a great game for him. They put up a bunch of yards. They put up a bunch of points. Still weren't able to pull it through. The Steelers' stat lines, if you look back at that game, kind of sucked. Like they put up what feels like maybe 250 yards of total offense and just ended up winning that game because they didn't really have to move the ball too far. So I think our money line parlay is just going to be all the dogs in the
Thanksgiving games?
Yeah, I think so. For free. Screw it at this point. You might as well, right? Let's just take all the dogs.
You got to be fun. Lions, though. That's tough. But again, we talked about how that seems kind of trapped.
See?
Maybe you're on the right side.
Fishy. It's a little fishy. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to do it. I'll put in a money line parlay. Lions, football club, Ravens, and just hope and pray that the Ravens don't screw me over again. So I think that part is pretty important. That's going to be a lot of fun, people. That's why we do it. We bet because it's fun. Not also because we like it, but because it's fun. And that is our Thanksgiving breakdown of all the Thanksgiving games. We got 3. As I said, we have articles already out. We're going to have a significant more coming, props, more bets, everything that you need. Make sure you're on Win Daily Sports. Go to windailysports.com to get everything 50% off. Happy Black Friday, people. Happy Black Friday. Take advantage of it and make a bunch of money with us. That is what we're here to do.